You know, so I've been hearing all this conversation that, you know, every time I've had interviews with people in the NGO world, in the education space, in the political space, in the development world space, and we're talking about our governance system and accountability. The one common thread that keeps emerging there is that Kenyans need civic education in order to elect better. And this morning I'm saying, miss me with that. Here is why. That Kenyans need civic education so that they can behave better in elections, so that they can elect better, so that they can know this is the right person for the job, is a complete fallacy. Because the assumption here is that Kenyans do not know the roles of each of the 6 people that we elect in a general election every 5 years. And I want to say, absolutely no way. First of all, Kenya's literacy levels, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the Kenya Health and Demographic Survey of 2022, places literacy levels in this country at above 90%. 94% for men, 91% for women. People have knowledge, they have information. If we even look at our median age being 19, and therefore a very vast majority of Kenyans being people who are under 35, many of them have gone through school, some basic education. In basic education, we are taught the structure of government, at least just those basics. You know, there's an executive whose role is to execute, plan and implement the plans. You know, there's a legislature whose role is represent, legislate, and oversight the executive. You know, there's a judiciary which comes in to mediate and to offer clarity on laws. So if everybody has that basic, at least everybody knows the president, there's an MP, there's a governor, there's an MCA, there's a woman rep, there's a senator, there's a legislator, and there's somebody in the executive. If everybody knows that, then they already have the basic civic education. When you're going into an election, you are electing 6 people. MCA, governor.
Right.
MP, woman rep. Senator, president. You know those are the people that you're electing. I'd like anybody to take me to any part of this country where somebody does not know the job of somebody in a legislative assembly. Or take me to any part of this country where people can say they don't know the job of somebody in the executive office as governor or as president. Or tell me that you don't understand the job really of an MCA. And then the question I'll ask, so you do not know. Okay, have you asked anyone? If you tell me that, you know, they asked and the next person did not seem to know, then we can say that there's a wide range of people who just don't understand these things. Then I would agree and say that Kenyans need civic education to elect better. I say you don't need civic education to elect better. Kenyans, we have bad manners. We just choose to bring our bad manners to the ballot, and then we sit back and we continue our bad manners by blaming everybody else.
Right.
But ourselves. End of my rant.
Okay. I agree with 50% of what you said.
Which 50?
That Kenyans, we do have a bad manners problem. True. That we are sufficiently educated in civic matters? No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. That information is easily accessible and that there's a person close to me who I can just be like, Ebony ambie, kazi ya MCA exactly, ni nini, and that I'll get that information correct, accurate. Or online, fantastic. Constitution readily available from government printers, etc. But not as as intentionally accessible as I would like it to be, I think, for people across the country. So that would be my pushback. Do we have bad manners? 100%. Do we need civic education to elect better? Yes. You're like, why are we teaching a dog?
Faka, he's turned to me, he's like a head.
He's like
similar. When you said everybody knows, I actually wrote on my notebook, not everybody. Again, agreeing with the bad manners, I'm fascinated by the human mind, by the way. You know, in my other life, I wanted to be a criminal psychologist, by the way, guys, before I chose media.
Okay.
Criminal bit, I not anymore. But
the psychology bit.
Yeah, because it's true. What is that mind block?
Yeah.
Is it a mind block? Is it fear? Is it ignorance? There's something that keeps us in patterns which do not help us and don't push us forward. But I also think civic education was positioned as an academic. It was supposed to be for people who are left furthest behind. It was supposed to be for everybody, but millions were spent on making sure Kilam Taele, Katiba, they understand who they're voting for where, when. I do think that there's a perception that civic education does not belong to everybody.
Right.
It's seen as academic, elitist. It's interesting, there was this picture of Kofi Annan carrying a tray with champagne flutes when they had done the
peacemaking.
The peace accord in 2008. And people were saying sometimes it just seems like wealthy men in business suits make decisions for the country, and I don't see myself in it. So I'm trying to say, yes, there is a bad manners, there's a manners something, but I also do feel like information is, in a sense, withheld, and I use that term loosely, doesn't trickle down as far as it needs to, and that is intentional. Again, when I gave that example at the beginning of this show of a young woman going to talk to other young people in different counties, in areas that many would consider either marginalized or left furthest behind, things that seemed obvious were not. And she's talking about this year, last year. She's talking about pro-June 25th, because I feel like that created a significant shift in our country, the protests. Young people not seeing themselves having the agency to elect leaders that could do better from them, not feeling like they either have permission or enough knowledge or sufficient information to make that decision. So it does show a gap in civic education. Or does it show a gap in something that's not civic education? Because I know Latiff is speaking to civic education, happened your shida of going on and on about. But there is a gap where when you say it's obvious that everybody knows it's president and MC, and not everybody.
Nope.
Not everybody.
And I said, take me to any part of this country where somebody has gone to participate in an election and they do not know what they are going there to do. All right? So I've started by saying people who elect. Let's start with the people who actually participate in an election. All right? Are you saying that there are people who get up in the morning, go join a queue, and they're going to vote and they do not know, I'm voting for a president and the difference, and I'm voting for an MP, and I'm voting for a woman rep, and I'm voting for a governor, and I'm voting for a senator? First of all, they know
Everybody
that
knows.
I'm voting for this. Are you saying that they do not know the difference between this?
Yeah, they don't know.
6 positions.
They don't know.
Show me, demonstrate to me how they don't know.
Anecdotally, and that's a good one. I'll come, Mariam, that's good, because now, I personally, anecdotally, when we did the 2012-2013 elections, there are very many people who admitted, I just ticked along the line. I knew who I wanted as president and vice president. And I'm talking about people I spoke to, because I voted, I went in as a citizen and left as a journalist. I'm like, do you know? They're like, izo watu wengine siwashughuliki.
Kwa nini?
I don't think that at that time, maybe it's changed, they didn't see it as important. What they saw as important is president. They didn't know. They were saying, I don't know, I just ticked. MCA, all those things, I don't think it's as important. This is anecdotally
That's what
the 6 piece.
6 piece.
And I'm talking about people who we were in line with, who I asked. They said, I don't really care for the others. Anecdotally, some saying, I don't really necessarily know what the role is. And again, this could be a small section. But
no, it's very many. It's
So
very many
people
who will go there and vote 6 piece.
Oh, so you're saying it's not a civic
The fact
education
that they
issue?
do that does not necessarily mean that they do not know the jobs of these people. It is that they're not placing importance to it. Okay? It's not for a lack of knowledge. It's not for a lack of knowledge. So even if we want to do civic education, I do not suppose that we begin civic education with, okay, the importance of a member of parliament. People will start walking out because they already know the job of a member of parliament. Is that
Do they?
They don't.
Is that they are choosing to to ignore the job of
to invalidate.
Yes. When people are saying huyo tumchagui tena, why are they saying huyo tumchagui tena?
Hajaleta development.
Because they know the job of that person. They choose to look at this job and put something else into it.
I'm using CDF as the best
Utasikia
example.
watu wakisema huyo maiongea bunge. Utasikia watu wakisema why is our parliament voting this way and the other way? People know. When people are coming out on the streets,
okay,
many of them who were coming out on the streets last year, they knew. They knew our problem is in parliament. It's not that they did not know. They knew.
But they knew top level. How many people knew?
But you see, that is knowledge.
Okay.
Let's just start with that.
I disagree.
Let's start with that. There's granular civic education, which I agree with, which can go into, like now understanding, for example, I'd like to participate, we are expected to participate in the public participation forums, in county integrated development plans. So there is importance now for civic education too. What is a CIDP? How does it look like? How should it look like? What are the elements of CIDP? And how is that different from the county annual plans and budgets and
It's
such?
only deep, Eric.
See? Those are deep. The basic. People know the job of the governor.
No. When you go to the MP,
Tell me somebody who does
nimefiwa,
not know the job.
nimefiwa.
Somebody who assumes the job of a governor and they confuse it with the senator's job.
Yes.
Patieni.
No, governor and senator, I don't think they'll confuse. Let's use basic MP, MCA, whatever.
Yes.
Aya. CDF.
Yes.
Easiest one.
Yes.
It's uyu hajaleta development hapa.
Yes.
So that's why 2027 tunamtoa. Ama amefanya kazi mzuri. And all of them will be CDF things.
Yes.
Ama nimefiwa, wacha niende kwa nyumba ya MP.
Yes.
Tusaidie na mazishi, tusaidie mchango.
Yes.
Aya. Those are not issues of I'm choosing.
That is not a lack of knowledge.
It's a lack of knowledge.
When people wake up and they go to an MP's home in the morning to take tea, right? And we had Karoli Omondi here telling us he has chosen not to go that route.
Yeah.
People know. They know I did not elect an MP so that he can be making tea and I go and we kunywa tea in his house. They know. People know the job of an MP is not to toa pesa ya harambe. People, this is where the bad manners comes in.
Do people know?
Tell me who does not. Somebody in this country.
I want to use
a country with a
development
median
as the
age,
best example.
A country with a median age of 19.
Yeah.
Okay? A country whose over 70% of the population is 35 and below. A country whose literacy levels are 90 and above. Yes? And that person thinks that the job of an MP is kutoa mchango.
Yes, na kupeana basari, na kufanya development ya CDF, kujenga shule, kujenga barabara, kujenga this, kujenga that, kujenga that. That one, I assure you, across the board, a lot of people...
You've come across such people. You know, Mariam.
Yes.
In all your life.
Yes.
In all your life. No.
Yeah.
One-on-one people. In all your life. From primary school, through secondary school, through university, through working life. Mariam, you want to tell me you have actually come across somebody that you know, hivi, unaweza mguza, unaweza nipeleka hivi and show me that this person actually does not know the job of an MP.
100%.
And they think the job of an MP
ni kufanya development.
Ni kutoa mchango ya harambe.
No, ni kufanya development.
Yes.
Ni kufanya development.
Ivas, Mariam?
And development is what?
Barabara, shule,
hospital.
Yes.
And in what form?
CDF.
In what form?
In what form? As in a physical?
Barabara, CDF, barabara.
Yeah.
Sipitali, barabara.
Yes. Or whichever. Yani, I come to MP Eric.
Kenya ifungwe.
There are people who...
What will you soma now? And they believe, they think that like that. And you went to school with them. This country is in... let's close this country.
And not only that, it's across class lines.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
We assume it's a certain demographic. The way you're asking Mariam, kuna mtu, I can also... Yes.
Tell me.
I do know. I do know because sometimes it's also privilege. Remember, it's lack of access and it's privilege.
Yeah.
Those are some of the variables.
Yeah.
And sometimes privileges, I don't know. I don't know that I need to know. And it's genuinely, I don't know. Hey, give me an example. Let's walk through these different people. Who does what? Janet, I don't know. Me, what matters is that
Is it that they don't know, or is it the I don't know answer of blocking you? You know, there's an I don't know answer of telling you.
It's genuinely.
Is it I don't know? I genuinely, Janet, you've come across somebody in your circles who genuinely does not know.
In your circles is a reach.
Eric?
Eh?
In your circles is...
In your circles is people you've interacted with.
Yes, I have.
Those are people in your circle. In all your life, Janet.
Yes.
Eric.
There are people, somebody who does not know the job of an MP.
Yes. When would they have known? Jano, I know you want to do feedback. No.
Yeah.
When was this civic education done?
In
for
school.
a lot of people. Let's start
Maybe in
with...
Kisoma ilikuwa inaitwa GHC.
Yes.
Katiba
nilifanya social studies.
Katiba is the same.
Katiba ika change.
Executive, judiciary, legislature did not change.
That's fine. But katiba ika change. Tukaongeza counties. Tukasema aya this uyu sasa takuwa county kuna governor, kutakuwa na woman rep, kutakuwa na mtu mwingine anaitwa MCA. At what point were you included in that conversation? Pre-constitution or post-constitution? And I want to thread with two very easy examples. The best civic education, actually why am I putting it in quotes? It was actually civic education that I can think of. It stuck with me, even though it had nothing to do with me at the time. I was a child, nowhere near being, sexually active, but tumechill. This fight against AIDS, it was called what? Wachana na mpango wa ukando, tumechill.
And this was the
peace,
sign.
Izo zote. I had no business, but it was so well done that it stuck with me.
Yep.
That I need to A, abstain, or B, kulukwana? Use a condom.
It is abstain, be faithful,
or use a condom.
That one, your ABCs, they stuck. They stuck.
Yes.
Because it was everywhere. You couldn't get away from it. It was it was in class. It was on TV. It was on radio. It was on billboards. Everywhere. Couldn't get away. Now, new constitution, role of governor, senator, president, MCA. Give me something similar to that.
Wait, there's a
in
caller.
School.
Don't wait.
Okay.
That's a
I
good.
will take you to school. In fact, anyone who is a teacher, please. What are you teaching your children today? Because when I was taught in the old constitution, I was taught about the executive, the judiciary, the legislature. And I sat an exam and I passed it. You sat an exam and you passed.
Yeah.
You asked those questions. You were passed. You asked. You have a caller.
Yes.
Okay. Eric amesema Kenya ifunze.
Who's the caller?
Okay, Patrick. Good morning. What's your question or comment?
Hello, morning guys.
Morning.
Before niingie kwa mada, I have some comment kidogo. Kuna watoto mtoto wangu ananisumbanga kila mara anauliza ule mzungu wa TV ule anashika wanyama kwa wapi? Viziati alienda wapi?
Hatukupati vizuri, Patrick.
Patrick, I don't know kama ni network maybe move away from the TV kidogo atukupati vizuri.
Hapo iko sawa.
Ongeza sauti yako.
Okay. Sasa.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Unajua civic education mimi naunga mkono sana. Most people wanted civic education. Because unajua mbunge kuna kazi yake, kuna senator na kazi yake, na inatuchanganya sana. Unapata matanga imetokea, watu wanasema mbunge hajatoa kitu, mbunge hajakuja kwa harambee wagonjwa. So lazima tufunzwe civic education. Mbunge kazi yake ni gani? MCA kazi yake ni gani? Kuna barabara unapata mambo wanasema hii barabara mbunge hajaweka mara, hajaweka lami. Unapata lami pia mbunge. Kuna barabara ya mbunge, kuna barabara ya county, mambo kama stima. Mbunge haweki stima. So tunasumbua sana kusumbua wabunge, tunawalemea. Lazima tufunze civic education. Ukienda kama mambo ya sahibi, president wetu William Ruto na deputy wake wanafanya vitu ya empowerment. Tujafunza what is empowerment. Because empowerment huwezi empower kijiji kimoja peke yake. This is a national. You must empower everybody. It's a national. Huwezi empower wawili, upe watu pikipiki watatu, unaonyesha umepeana.
Sasa unaona Patrick. Unajua. This is what I mean. You know, Patrick, wacha nikuulize Patrick.
Ndio.
Unajua kazi ya senator? Wewe uko Kitale, uko Trans Nzoia County, si ndio?
Ndio.
Trans Nzoia mko na senator, mko na governor, mko na MCA.
Kabisa.
Unajua kazi ya governor?
kazi ya governance ni president wetu wa kijiji yetu hii ya kaunti yetu.
Very good. 100% pass. Unajua kazi ya MCA?
MCA tunajua yeye ndio sasa jirani ya hiyo inatujua chini. Yule ni kama MP sasa kwa bunge national government yetu bunge sasa huyo
100% pass. Unajua kazi ya senator?
Huyu senator maana hata wangu huyu Kesangi simjui simuonaki kwa bunge sasa ndio kwa senator. Hapo ndio mfaa tufunzwe.
Before Chesang nani alikuwa senator?
Alikuwa Mbito.
Na kazi ya hao maseneta wote, wacha hata Chesang ama specific, maseneta wote ambao unaona wakifanya kazi gani?
Kazi yao ni ku oversight makabana hiyo tunajua. Kazi yao ni ku oversight counties. Vile wanafanya mambo, vile wanaiba, vile wanatumia pesa. They do good work. Lakini lazima tufunzwe. Nataka tufunzwe, tunawekewa siku moja tu kwa mwezi tunafunzwa watu, itakuwa national. Tufunzwe wananchi watu.
So ufanye masters. Sikusema ati una basic.
Asante sana Patrick. Yeah. Asante sana. I want to get some feedback as we come back. What I'm starting to get as I lean, what Eric is saying. So there's two things, is that people know, or people are choosing not to know, or people genuinely don't know. When you used Nimechila as an example, it's that, it's mainstreaming it, which I don't know that has been done in a way that people would internalize it, which it needs to be.
It helped to internalize,
yes.
But already, Mariam, you knew.
I did not.
No.
I was a child.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. Mariam, however much of a child you are, in your upbringing, right, you knew that you don't engage in sex. You knew that. That's what that Tumechil campaign was basically saying. It was Tumechil. It was showing, campaign very well done by Kinatoni Jogona and KJ, showing very well that these are young teenagers in school. Wanaanza kuja kati ya huyu mwingine, and the girl says, Nimechil. They were not even saying much, but you understood the message.
Yes.
Because you had innate knowledge of what that message was. That's what I'm saying. We have the basic.
So there's something. Okay, before you come to then, because you said it's bad manners. We have the basic, but it's bad manners, or is there something else? Michael Mwangi, we like to say, to see wajinga. But if a politician convinces you that his or her problem are also your problems and you believe it, should you blame the politician or yourself? Okay. Charles Dungo. Eric, bad manners agreed. I get a daily dose of the amount of ignorance that's doing its rounds on matters leadership in the country. Citizens do not want to put their brains into anything exhausting. Michael Mwangi comes back. When a politician donates millions in church and the congregation ululates, but online we see outrage. Is it a class issue? Education issue? How do we fix that, since we should all know it's wrong? And Kelvin Bogo says the problem we have is its ignorance of Kenyans, and mentality of politics is a dirty game.
Okay.
So are people self-preserving because whether or not they feel like they'll get that information, they don't see how it benefits them? But then again, when it's the wrong people are chosen, they see how it affects them. There's a mental block somewhere. I don't know if it's bad manners and ignorance.
If we can tell when this guy has not done the job, then we do the job.
No, but
Albert
we've
is
been
saying,
misjudging
it's
them.
a good example. How do we tolerate, he uses two letters here, but let me not use, words like, we do not fix street lights because you'll spoil them. Or Baba doing the job of an entire county assembly by either deciding to, remove or retain a governor from office. And then we all can tell, and we can tell that is not the job of Baba to do. My argument, by the way, is I am not refusing that there is need for continuous engagement.
Of course.
And this is where the public participation comes in.
Yes.
But it's just empowering you with greater inner knowledge of how you're engaging at that level. Knowing your rights, for example. Knowing that the law gives you power to oversight, that you can recall a member of parliament and how to do it. Knowing that, somebody wrongs you, you can report them to an authority, and the channel that you can use to report them to an authority. Knowing that you can report them, the channel is now where the knowledge comes in. The same thing I'd say with voter education, voter education is different from civic education.
Yeah.
Voter education, knowing that there will be a ballot, there'll be a pink one, it'll be president, there'll be a white one, there'll be a different one. When you get into that, you'll require to give your ID, and that just explaining the process, that's okay. Civic education so that the Kenyan can become a better voter means that the Kenyan can be explained to the job of a president and the job of an MP and the job of a governor and an MCA. I'm saying,
that part.
We have basic knowledge of the job of an MP.
I say that is a shaky foundation.
Yep.
It's a shaky foundation you're working on, Eric. Because I think of something that is universal knowledge within the country.
Yes.
And I don't think it's the role of an MP.
Which one?
To oversight, legislate,
and represent.
No, I don't think that is.
Which one? CDF?
Think of, not CDF, I'm thinking of when there is a vaccination drive, for example.
Yes.
That, and especially when I was younger, you just, everywhere, you'll see it, you'll be told, kuna vaccines, polio. Coming round. Then they're at your door, or they come to your school to give you the polio vaccine. It's not, what's happening? It's, okay, nipe vaccine. You already have, you're primed, you know what's happening. As opposed to new constitution, booklets were distributed. I've even seen someone talking about, Eric agreeing with you and saying booklets were distributed when the new constitution was put in place. He was in primary school back then. Okay, some were, for sure. But where was the continuous push? The baraza, the public service announcement on radio, in vernacular, in English, in Kiswahili, on TV, across the news, in the papers, in the curriculum, because I don't think it exists. The role of an MP exists, fine. I think right now, Mamboya oversight, Mamboya MCAs, sorry, and the county governments, I think they are within the curriculum. But in a sense, not in a PTA exam, Andika, the role of an MP is to oversight, legislate, represent. Not in that sense. In a... ground level.
Yes. Ground knowledge.
Kuja tufanye baraza, let's do a mock election in school. Eric, do you want to run for MCA? Okay. Janet, you're running for president. Sawa, let's do, please campaign amongst these people over the next week. On Friday, we're doing a mock election. And then you'll start carrying out your duties from there. And we will fix and teach and do whatever practical things. That's what I'm saying. Chill worked because it was everywhere and consistent, and it hammered one consistent message until it sunk.
Somebody has posed, if Kenyans know their rights but don't act, is it because of ignorance, fear, or systemic barriers? Do we need more civic education, or do we need to dismantle the culture of impunity that makes knowledge useless without power? There's something about...
And impunity, starting with the citizens' impunity.
Citizens' impunity. There's fear. There is... what's happening now is people are beginning to take ownership that this country can run well if I participate. And like I said, there's been moments in this country. Last year was one. Despite that, even the fact that last year was really an example of people saying, we're going to hold leaders to account.
Right.
There's still generally, and this is anecdotal, seems to be a touch and go when it comes to, it's almost like, what do I need to know? As opposed to what is the entirety of what exists?
Right.
What are the roles? What do they mean? It's really what concerns me
right now.
What's affecting my business? If something to do at ward level has nothing to do with my reality, that's where people say, I don't know. And generally they're like, I don't know. And sometimes they add, I don't care. Now, is it a matter of civic education? Maybe, maybe not. But there is still that gap. It's not painted as...
I promise you,
kuna mtu amejiondoa kwa ward akajiweka kwa constituency.
Basically, walai.
Yeah.
Because yeye haoni vile, hajui vile ward inaingia maneno yake, haoni. That's why hakuna hiyo civic education.
Silie. Pumua. We said we breathe in our, we put it in our lungs.
Tuna exhale.
Yes. This person, it's not that they do not have the basic knowledge. Right? Already they know that there's a ward. But they think, for some reason, they have chosen to think that ward ni ya watu wengine. Mimi niko level ya constituency and above. Okay. It's not that they do not know that.
At the constituency and above. I'm at level.
There's levels.
Yeah.
Levels.
I mean, me, I'm only bothering about, electing the governor.
That's
the
true.
governor and all. And the MCA, I mean, those are those kajuras that fight in City Hall. I mean, those ones.
But that's valid. That's what happens. But you're saying
let's not validate.
No, not valid. That's valid. That's what you're saying. That is not a civic education problem.
Yes.
It is a bad manners and ignorance problem.
It's a chosen ignorance problem. Because this person knows, but they choose to ignore. We choose. Very many people know that the role of development belongs to the executive. Okay? And they also know that the role of the MP should not touch on this. Okay? And when they see all these cases going to court, they can tell, well, yeah. And then they choose to say, lakini at least kwa MP tunaonanga akijenga shule. At least your pesa ya CDF tunaonanga ikikuja hapa nini. You have chosen to redefine the role of the MP. It's not that you do not know the role of the MP.
You have chosen to redefine. Feedback, small.
Okay.
I'm with Eric on this one. We're given small new constitution booklets while in primary school. See, civic education was present back then. That's Edgar Masaki. Maureen Wakio says, it's like a doctor. You really know you are sick when you start to understand the work of your doctor. Like, for example, if you get a really bad disease like cancer, you don't go to see the doctor. You book an appointment with an oncologist. Interesting. Eric, there's a difference between kujua na kuelewa, just as it's been educated and learned. Learned. Yeah. We are people who accept mediocrity and hence mediocre. Child's today. Consider the simple acceptance of the Committee on Compensation. No, the Constitution has been overlooked, but majority do or say nothing.
Okay. Well, what Sir Felix said, kujua na kuelewa.
Yes,
yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Naijua, but kuelewa ni muhimu sana.
Right? Because labda tulijua ile ya, okay, ulifunzwa ukiwa shule, ama new constitution ilikuja ukapitia ukasema 1-2, but that's how we do things, which is that you read to pass an exam, for example, KCSE, KGSE, whichever one, but not to understand, not to internalize. Then that's how we end up here.
You've hit the nail on the head. So yes, I know. To Eric's point, I know. Because
both sides, you're wondering how to split yourself
She can see the point.
I've seen what you've said, though.
But she's also now struggling to carry everybody along. You know who she is.
She's inclusive. She's being inclusive. Yes.
It's that thing, though. It's kujua but kukosa kuelewa. And I think the challenge here, or the challenge we need to throw to people who say we need more civic education, is start with what's in front of you. And then whether it's exhausting, whether it's tedious, whether it's lengthy, choose to internalize this information. Actually make it a choice, because sometimes there's some kind of pushback. It's where we are. I'm just trying to put a roof over my head, feed my kids, take them to school. I don't really care. But then you have to, because then you're able to come back and hold specific people accountable. So I do think, even part of what some of the comments have said, there is that mental exhaustion. There is that, I just want to know. So you've told me, I now know. No, now understand. For those who are not really in touch with civic education, or using the excuse, quote unquote, of, you guys just give me civic education so that I vote better. It's in front of you. You don't really need to go down the route of civic education. Start with Katiba.
Yes.
Start with ChatGPT. Extrapolate and summarize where my rights fit into this. Why do I need to understand the role of MCA and MP and governor, senator? It's okay if you look silly. It's between you and ChatGPT. Prompt. Break it down. Don't wait for a civic education round. Don't wait for a civic education exercise.
Right.
I think because then you use that and say, but hawakukam.
Fair.
Tulikuwa tupate civic education, they didn't come. I think start now. Jitume.
That's, I agree, Jitume. My only pushback is the foundation is shaky, guys.
In what sense?
The foundation of what we know and how much we know
100%
is shaky.
That's where I'm with
so
you.
Then if you're building on a rocky foundation, that's why I think it needs intentional work that is done from a top level perspective, because mi naeza jituma, wewe ujitume, but then the message might not be cohesive. Naeza prompt chat GPT iniambia vitu zingine.
The foundation of what we know is shaky because of how we receive it, or because we don't know the truth. Like when you say that, it's
because there was no unit. Like again, I'm using Nimechil as my baseline example, because I think of a message that was solid, unified across the country, and executed exceptionally well. Now, when I think about how government works, I can't think that there has been one sustainable thread of like communication all through time about how government works, what civic education looks like, what your members of county assembly, all of that. I can't think of one big campaign. That's why we all have different interpretations. That's why we all have different views. That's why we know in theory, we don't know. There's no solid foundation.
But I think we can know, Mariam. What I think you're saying, which I agree with, which I don't know if it's a matter of, sometimes I think Kenyans have this buffet where they're just like, I don't want the soup served to me this way. Nipe soup kwa hii dish. See here.
Usiweke kwa kikombe.
No offense to you, Kikombe.
No offense to Kikombe.
Because we know you're watching.
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean in terms of the intentional advocacy. It's almost like if creators right now would come up with a skit that says, "Where kwani ujua MCA anafanya nini?" It would stick. A tagline, the roles. I can see it. I can see it as like a creative
#katiba yangu
something.
And then we're going across the country explaining the basics of devolution, of this is what each member of or like every person along the electoral, the ballot, whatever does. This is their role. This is why what they're supposed to do. Sawa. We have a call coming in, Eric. Maybe we'll skip to that.
That's good.
But vile tunasema hii maneno yote, we really have to be very, very careful not to dismiss. Kuna watu wanajua the extremes na kuna wenye walai wana float, but the majority, I don't know where they lie. Tuko tu hapo katikati.
Tuko hapo. Watu wana float too. Who's on the line, Philip? Mark, good morning. Thank you for calling.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Now, I've been listening and I have some contribution, especially to do on our education system. Remember, when we were in school, we never used to learn to practice. We learned to pass exams. So basically, everything that we learned, we left it in school. Number two, the books that are provided these days are very, very shallow. I can actually challenge you to get a book that has that explanation of what each executive arm of the government is supposed to be doing, and you may not find it. I don't know if it is intentional that actually people just put it out, remove them from the books so that you may not have an idea of what people are supposed to do. But if you go to the books, you'll not find them. In Kenya, most of the time, what we find is that people get information, but they practice what they see. For example, you find governors, senators, MCAs, MPs going to State House to get development. Then you're supposed to tell these citizens that governors are not supposed to get it from State House, they're supposed to actually get it from what they do. They have actually left their workstation and have gone to State House, another person's workstation, to get what they're supposed to be getting or doing in their workstations. It's just the same example that your accountant sends your salary to the bank, then you go back to your accountant and you want to tell them, okay, give me my salary. not the one that is in the bank, but also what you also have in your pockets, you see? So that is the biggest problem that we are having, is that our leaders are practicing what is not in law. So your citizenry will always expect to do or to practice what they are seeing. And that is why you see the MP, like go, for example, and I'm sorry to use this, go to Kimani Ichung'wah's, for example, Facebook page. Look at what he's actually putting out there. He's putting out roads, he's putting up hospitals, yet he's an MP. So how do you expect your local MP not to be putting up such? And when they don't put up such, they find that your MP is not working. How do you explain that? Thank you.
So Mark.
Yes.
Do Kenyans require that basic civic education, yes or no?
They actually require it by practice. not by reading.
How do you make it by practice?
And by the way, do you know IEBC is the one which is supposed to be doing that? Actually, that's why they have a big budget. They're supposed to be explaining what each executive arm of government is supposed to be doing.
Mark, I want to ask you a question.
Kindly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
you're
you
there.
clearly.
Even though there are certain leaders who will post and say roads and hospitals, when you go back to what the Constitution says, when you go back to what these roles are, it's very clear who is supposed to do what. So while I hear you in terms of, but the leaders are showing something different, is the onus then, should the onus not then be on us to push back and say that is not your job? According to Katiba, your job is 1, 2, 3, 4. So why do you think a majority, if we're going with majority, I use that loosely, why do you think people aren't doing that? Because they could access this information, so why do you think they don't?
We also can blame our development levels. For example, most of our citizenry do not have roads in their constituencies and wards and all that. So whoever brings it first is actually the one who gets the recognition.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark. That was very, very insightful.
Yeah, thank you.
I agree largely with what Mark has said. And he started from, we learn to do what? To pass.
We practice what we see.
Yes.
It was a very good line.
Yes, that as well.
Not in its entirety. It's what we see. It's also what works for us. So I think as we wind up and as we get to the last few minutes, a part of me is like, okay, but then why aren't we digging deep to... The information is there.
Right.
The information is a click away, it's an office away, it's a phone call away. I don't know that we fully have a reason or excuse. I can see how it goes over people's heads, but I can't see how there's no low-hanging fruits to get this information. That's what I'm grappling with. The civic education is around you. So why are you choosing to still say we need civic education? That's...
Ati?
The answer.
That's the,
Bad manners.
I agree with the bad manners, Eric.
You know, this is how bad manners plays out. Look at how we have structured our politics. You know, when we say how Kenya's politics is structured, we assume it's this class of people who are politicians who've structured it and not the citizens. When you hear people complaining of how expensive it is to run a campaign, it is because the citizen has decided that money is going to be the currency. Okay? So everything else, you want MCA, they know, you want MCA, so I'll ask for 500 shillings. You want a governor, I'll ask for 1,000. Because I know the importance of the job that you're doing. Okay? We have chosen that bad manners of shifting the way we engage with politics and therefore the way we hold ourselves accountable and everybody else by saying, it's what is in it for me. What do you bring to me? Umenitembelea na a bag of sugar and maize meal, and therefore I consider you better. The other person came with 2 kilograms. This is even better than this other one. This one talks to me better than this one. Is from my tribe. This is from my clan. This is from this and the other. It's not because we do not know the job that this person is asking to do. We're basically discarding all that and saying, I am choosing to vet you based on how much money you have. No, based on your name, because your name tells me your clan and where
tribe,
you come from, and then based on how much money you're giving me or what goodies you're leaving me. That's the bad manners that then will shroud
everything
peleka
else.
Constitution leo na upatie kila mtu copy. Enda leo ufanye drama. Oh, this is the role of the MC. They'll be like, and
then the
so
next day,
to alipe 1,200 basi. 1,000.
Then I think the challenge I can leave people, if you're online and somebody posts and says roads, hospitals, ask them, but is that your role? I think just that isn't your role, sir.
That's the fix.
Ma'am, that is not your role. People saying proximity to the president means I'll be able to have that market, but that's not your role. Maybe then. But as of now, to his point, people will take whoever's giving them the goodies.
Why is saying that we came for this discussion poorly? Identified the problem and yet you haven't clearly said what these elected or selected leaders do.
Oh.
That's the thing. You know.
Do they know, Eric? You see, we'll need to do a part 2 of this.
If you want to know,
because
if you want to know, go look for that civic education.
I go look for it. Yes. Okay. I agree.
If you definitely.
I think Gapiko, nani bad manners. You're absolutely right. A big part of it is bad manners, but the gap is there. Yeah, genuinely kuna watu hawaelewi vizuri na ni wengi. And we should give them that grace as well.
Yes, made that part 2 loading.
Part 2. Lakini wacha tufunge show.
Yes.
It's been an amazing Tuesday. A big thank you to Dr. Belio Kipsang for spending 2 hours with us, just threading on e-citizen, immigration, maisha number, NEMIS, shirika. Tumeongea mambo mengi sana. Of course, if you missed any part of that, it's up on YouTube, but we have to end the show now. We'll be back here tomorrow from 6 to 10. In the meantime, Your World is coming up next. Winnie and Wekali will be talking about manifestation of the father wound in relationships, healing and forgiveness. Woo. How I think they call this daddy issues?
Yes, they do. That one. So that's up next. Eric Latiff will be on The Last Word tonight at 9:30 on NTV.
Should Nairobi remain as a county, or should it become a separate entity that's managed under the national government? That's the question tonight.
On Nation FM, Claudia and Brian are taking over. Vibe Shift. Let's have a 10 over 10 day. So far, so good. Tuendele vivyo hivyo, tupatane Wednesday for the hump of the week. Bye.